Hey, what up? My mic is on now, huh? Let's get it. We're gonna start off, you know what I'm saying, a little bit fast today. I'm trying to get some shit done. You know what I'm saying? We got limited time, so I'm trying to use the time I got left. Hold on. Post a couple things real quick. We can go ahead and get started. Hey, number 9. Who this nigga, man? He doing the countdown? That's the same one, huh? Sheesh. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Hey. It's Sunday. So I'm just kicking back, you know what I mean? I don't got really no plans. I was gonna probably get the car wash or some shit like that. Let me get that YouTube chat up real quick. Hey, I gotta finish this beat. I ain't done with it yet. I'm just listening to it. I gotta remix it a little bit, change some things around. But it's good enough for now. You dig? I'm still learning, you know what I mean? It's been about 1 year since I started making beats again and using FL Studio, which is brand new to me. I used to use the MPC, Triton, chord, keyboard, mixing board, you know what I mean? A couple other things, but trying to use all digital now. Laptop shit. So yeah, eventually I can get back to where I used to be. It'll take some time though. It is. But all good things come in time. You know what I'm saying? Sheesh. Alright. Let me see. I don't even know what videos we got today. Make a small adjustment real quick. I don't know if you see that little line. There we go. Hey. Ish. It's early in the morning too. Yeah. I mean, not that early, but you know what I mean. Relatively speaking. Generally speaking, whatever you want to say. Motherfucking Sunday. Motherfucking Sunday. Yeah, alright, let's see what this video about.
Have been commonly used by the enigmatic and elusive occult societies and magical orders around the world since ancient times. In this video, let's look at some of the most baffling and controversial occult symbols and the meanings behind them.
Alright, let's do it.
Number 10. The Ankh. Also known as the Key of Life, the Ankh is the ancient Egyptian hieroglyph symbol of eternal life, the cycle of mortal existence and the afterlife. Although of unknown origin, it has been depicted in various Egyptian artworks.
Right.
Symbolizing
It's like
spiritual healing and a means to communicate with the divine. Worn by the Egyptians as an amulet, it protected its wearer from bad energies. Today, the Ankh is linked with neo-paganism and Kemetism.
Play a little
This
Battlefield
occult
2.
symbol is often thought to be the predecessor or forerunner of the Christian cross.
Okay.
Number 9.
Sounds good.
Pentacle and pentagram. A pentagram is a five-pointed star facing upwards
The
that
elements.
signifies various fivefold concepts. When set in a circle, this symbol becomes the pentacle, symbolizing balance and harmony of the five elements within the circle that represent the universe. In Wicca, the pentacle represents the five elements and the five senses. It's also a symbol of positive power and protection. Oftentimes, it has been used as a talisman to ward off evil spirits and demons.
Evil spirits.
An inverted
Holy
pentacle or
shit.
pentagram signifies black magic and a contempt for the traditional occult and spiritual values.
Alright.
This symbol that embodies Baphomet, or Satan with the goat's horns, have been used throughout history to cast spells that conjure evil spirits into the realm of the living. Number 8. Seal of Solomon. One
Seal
of the
of
oldest
Solomon.
symbols used in the practice of the occult and ceremonial magic. The Seal of Solomon is the magical signet ring of King Solomon, who used it to control spirits, genies, and demons.
Genies.
Depicted as a hexagram within a circle, the Seal of Solomon is also relevant in the Jewish tradition.
Okay.
It was used as a talisman that is said to have the power not only to control or bind supernatural beings, but is also used to cast spells and to conjure spiritual forces.
Okay.
Number
ain't know
7. All-Seeing Eye.
Uh-oh.
Commonly known as the Eye of Providence, the All-Seeing Eye is in fact an eye within a triangle. It is a symbol
can see
that
that,
carries
right?
different meanings to different people. While it symbolizes the omnipresence and omniscience of God to some, it is something far more sinister and mysterious for others.
Uh-oh. What is
Famously
he talking
depicted
about?
on the United States $1 bill, the All-Seeing Eye is entrenched in conspiracies, one being the existence of the Illuminati, an all-powerful secret society thought to control the world.
Illuminati?
It is a Freemason symbol and used in Wicca as a tool to cast curses, spells, and also for psychic control.
Oh yeah, Ouija board, huh?
Number
Forgot.
6. Icelandic Magical Staves. The Icelandic magical
Icelandic
staves are a range of beautiful runes and symbols known as Galdrastafar, created by the Icelandic people. They were
know
believed to
that.
be endowed with magical energy and powers. Each unique design had a
Leprechauns?
different purpose, whether it was to bring luck while fishing, provide protection during long journeys, assistance in war, or even to win over a girl and just for a restful sleep.
Magic for
They have
sleep?
been recorded
Melatonin?
in grimoires, textbooks of magic in occultism. These rune characters are deeply interlinked with pagan gods, Nordic mythology, and Icelandic history.
Right.
Number 5. Leviathan Cross. The satanic symbol of the Leviathan Cross represents anti-theistic views. It features a
I didn't
double-barreled
know
cross located at the midpoint of an infinity
Everybody's
symbol.
wearing those jeans though.
This sigil symbolizes the eternal universe and the balance between people. This cross was originally created by the Knights Templar before being adopted by Anton LaVey, the
And
founder
LaVey, the
of the Church of Satan, who called it Satan's Cross. In alchemy,
The
the
double
Leviathan
cross.
cross symbolizes sulfur and brimstone, which is an essential element of nature
I didn't know
and
that.
embodies the human soul.
Learn something
Number
new every
4.
day.
Ouroboros.
Ouroboros. That's
The
what I was talking to my
Ouroboros
dad
is an
about
ancient Greek
yesterday.
symbol that features a snake biting its own tail, forming a never-ending cycle. It is
Eternity.
named after the Greek words aura, meaning tail, and boros, meaning devourer. The circle formed by the snake symbolizes the cycle of life, death,
Right.
and rebirth. It represents the harmony of opposites and continuous renewal.
At least that's
This
what they
symbol
say, right?
is an essential part of magic and alchemy. It embodies the message that all is one, meaning that one thing changes into another. It is also known to represent the spirit of
Transformation.
Mercury, the
Transhumanism?
substance that penetrates all matter. Number 3.
Well, you said Mercury,
Universal
right? Yeah,
hexagram,
that was
that
Mercury.
all is one,
Yeah.
meaning that one thing changes into another. It is also known to represent the spirit of Mercury,
Yeah, Mercury.
the substance
Alright,
that penetrates all matter. Number
That's
3.
crazy. I didn't know that.
Unicursal hexagram.
Well, I knew that, but you know what I mean.
Although similar to the regular hexagram in being a six-pointed star, the unicursal hexagram is unique
Look a little different.
as it's formed by a continuous movement without any
Ah.
breaks.
I see.
It
the
symbolizes
blind
the
man.
union or intertwining of two halves and the coming together of two separate individuals.
A union?
This symbol has been designed for rituals due to its uninterrupted lines. A variation of the unicursal hexagram, with a 5-petal flower at its center, was designed by Aleister Crowley
Aleister
and is
Crowley.
widely associated
Do
with
It
the
That Will.
thelema, where it is used for thelemites to identify or recognize each other. Number 2. Upside down cross. Nothing screams the Antichrist more than an upside down cross. And yet, this symbol ironically represents both Christian as well as anti-Christian values.
Hey, there you
In
go.
Christianity, it's said that St. Peter was crucified on an upside down cross at his own request, since he deemed
didn't know
himself
that.
unworthy of being crucified in the same manner as Jesus Christ.
Makes
Because
sense.
of this, the Petrine cross, aka upside down cross, is used to symbolize the papacy, as the Pope is considered to be St. Peter's successor.
Wow, I didn't know that.
However, according to satanic beliefs, this symbol represents the coming of the Antichrist, simply because it's an inverted version of the cross, the most
course.
recognized symbol of Christianity. Number 1. The Sigil of Baphomet. Infamously known as the Black Goat, the Men of Mendes,
Black goat?
or
I
the
didn't know
Judas
that.
Goat. This symbol, portraying a man with a horned head and goat's leg, represents a Gnostic or pagan deity. In several occult societies, the Baphomet represents Satan, the fallen angel. The symbol is hung on the altar's western wall during the rituals. In the past, the Knights
Knights
Templar
Templar.
had been accused of worshipping this demonic deity and incorporating the sigil into numerous occult
Ooh.
rituals and ceremonies that are held even today. Today, it's also a symbol of balance among occult societies.
Balance. Exactly.
That's it for our list of occult symbols.
Ball.
Did we miss anything?
I'm sure
Let
you
us know in
did, but
the
it's
comments
okay.
down
We'll
below.
get you next time.
If you enjoyed this video,
Yeah, it was great. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, shit. Drop my controller and shit, bro. It's alright. I ain't even playing no games yet anyway, so not that big of a deal. Let's see. What else do we got here? That video wasn't too bad, though. I ain't gonna lie. No cap. Looking for something that's like not too long, I guess. You know, about 5-10 minutes. Actually, I'm looking for new channels too, you know what I mean? Just new content in general, because I'm subscribed to about 1,000 people. Let's see what this guy has to talk about the Magic Square. Let's see if this is any good.
Well, yes, I think it'd be fun to talk a little bit about magic squares. And magic squares have fascinated mathematicians and artists as
Oh,
well.
I know what I want to watch
for
too.
many hundreds of years. And I'd like to show you just a
not
print.
that.
It's called Melancholia 1 by a German artist. And in this you can see a rather plump melancholy angel with various mathematical devices. She's holding a pair of compasses in her hand. There's this complex geometrical object here. There's a sphere down here, and then various tools and objects. And also we can see a wonderful comet and a rainbow. Time is passing, and up in the top right-hand corner we have a magic square. And if we zoom in on this, it's written in sort of slightly old-fashioned symbols, but somewhere. Okay, so this is written out in modern versions of the numerals, the magic square that appears in Dürer's painting of Melancholia 1.
A little different.
And if you look at this, you'll see that all of
Yeah, I see.
the rows, so this row, if you add those numbers up, 16 plus 3 plus 2 plus 13 adds up to 34. And if we look down this column here, 3 plus 10 plus 6 plus 15, that adds up to 34. And then if we look along the diagonal, if I remember correctly, that's 26. And then that's also 34. And this diagonal is also 34. And we've got a 4x4 square here, notice, and we've used the first 16 numbers to fill that square. And that's your typical magic square. Now, this one really
That's cool.
fascinates me. I've got it hanging up at home, and I was looking at it one day, only a couple of weeks ago, in fact, and I discovered something on it that I've never seen before, and I've looked around on Wikipedia and not seen any reference to it. But if you add all the numbers in Melancholia, so if you add all the numbers of the magic square, and we've seen that each of the 4 columns has 34, so if we take 4 times 34, we get 136. And then if we look for one more number in Melancholia, it's called Melancholia 1. And if I add 1 to 136, I get 137.
Oh,
and this is approximately equal to 1 upon alpha, my friend, the fine structure constant, which tells us the ratio of the strength of the electrical force to the quantum.
There you go.
Are you suggesting there's some meaning or something?
No, it's purely coincidence. But I think it's purely coincidence. But I think it's very funny, and it's not very widely known. So
I think not.
I'd be great if we can put it into 60 symbols and do word squares. Yeah, I mean, I've been fascinated with these things since I've been a kid, and I played around seeing if I could make them. And I started off with a nice, simple, odd 3x3 number square, and I wanted to try and make all the rows and columns add up. And I think the rather plump angel here just looks like a physicist, and she's obviously worried about infinities or integer numbers or the volume of this and thinking about spheres, or maybe she's seen this comet on the rainbow wondering about it. It's just a delight to a physicist to see it.
Funny.
So I find them,
Yeah.
she looks very patient, just thinking away the problems, and that's what we have to
She
do.
look
And when we get a
patient?
bit
That's what
melancholic,
patience looks
we have to
like?
press on with our
Okay.
calculations and do our experiments. So I find it just inspiring.
I'm finna go live on TikTok too real quick. Give me a second, y'all. Like, 2 minutes. Alright, we live on TikTok as well now. Let's watch this video. It's a quick video pretty much. Not that quick, but smooth sounds of, wait a minute, that's not the right video. Hold on. That's funny though. Motherfucker had the jazz going like crazy.
Artists would
let's
keep
see.
it secret. They would, actually.
Alright, this is
I
it
am
right
going to
here.
use a 120-year-old secret optical tool
Camera
to create
Lucida.
photorealistic drawings, even if I am not good at drawing.
Right? And a lot of people don't know that this tool exists. It's called Camera Lucida. I don't know, but check it out.
When an artist looks down through the prism, they see at the same time their subject in front of them and the paper on the table.
Camera Lucida.
With practice, the artist can trace a very realistic image.
It's still
The
not the
instrument
exact
often
video I'm
came with
looking for,
lenses
but
to help focus the subject at several distances.
Why would you assume that great artists would use it?
Because artists
Exactly.
would use any tool available. Why wouldn't they? I mean, it seems to me odd to assume they wouldn't, actually. That's odd. People are a little bit secretive about
Exactly.
tools like that. Well, that was an Arndt drawing.
Right.
And-
Madame Louise Francois
and-
Garin.
Now, I'm pointing out, look at the head, which is a tiny bit big, and
Right.
her hands in relation to the head seem
But then
very high
afterwards-
up.
Yeah.
You see that? I can see that. Meaning, the proportion is slightly odd, which I would have thought was caused by him using a camera lucida.
Hockney used a vintage camera lucida to draw realistic portraits of his friends, and he was very impressed by the results.
It doesn't do the drawing. I did the drawing. I made the marks.
In the past, artists used the camera lucida to get very detailed representations of what they were seeing while traveling. To get his perspectives right, the famous painter Gustave Caillebotte was using the same tool.
And the accuracy of this drawing with respect to the site has led many scholars
14
to
years
wonder
without
whether
Michael
he
Jackson.
used an optical device.
Correct.
And this sort of general list of devices that were available at that time included
I'm looking
a
for that
photographic
original
camera,
video that
a
we're
camera
watching
obscura,
right
and the camera lucida.
now.
It is my suspicion
Obscura
that
and camera
not only
lucida.
did Caillebotte use this camera lucida, but also it stood in this exact same spot. Because what I've been able to verify is that when you look down inside the prism and look at his drawing underlaid at 1:1 scale, you can see that the geometry and the drawing line up just about perfectly.
Perfect.
One of the great users of the camera lucida was Sir John Herschel, who created the cyanotype process. He
Like a
used a
negative,
drawing device as
basically.
he studied botany specimens and landscapes while traveling. Herschel's friend, William
found
Henry Fox Talbot, borrowed his
It's only
camera
1 minute.
lucida and tried for weeks to draw with it.
Couldn't do it. He was like, man,
But he
you know what? I'm
became
gonna make
very
a
frustrated with
camera.
his results.
Made the first.
He spent the next
Camera.
several years trying to fix images to paper faster and without drawing. And the process
Like
he
Yoke.
invented was called photography.
Yeah. Duality.
I went to
Camera
art
lucida
school when I was younger, but I would not
made
say
photography happen because he couldn't draw.
I was good at drawing. And I didn't practice for a very long time. Will I draw faster with this 120-year-old tool?
Yes.
It takes a little time to understand how to use a camera lucida and what lens to choose for a specific subject. To start, I chose something easy to draw.
How easy would you say this is? I think it's a toy or something he drew. No, it's a fish. Oh yeah. Cause I remember there was another one. Yeah, it's gonna be probably a toy. Pretty cool.
With just 2 hours of practice, I was getting better results, and I
There's
was
the
starting
toy I
to
was
feel
talking
more
about.
confident about the process.
Only 2 hours and he's making beautiful art. Well, they're not showing it right now, but you know what I mean. Here we go. You can see the picture on the. You can see the picture on the paper. Pretty crazy.
I started to experiment with different techniques.
Motherfucker got the beat bumping and shit. God damn. Camera lucida. Turn you into an artist overnight. If anybody wants to learn how to draw, purchase a camera lucida. And it will definitely help you out. You dig? I never knew how to draw when I was a kid, so when I found out about this, I was like, that's cool. I remember in art class, the first thing I tried to do was make a circle. Didn't happen.
I even asked my wife to try it out, and on her first try, she got a very good result.
He banged out some art with the quickness.
The camera lucida is still available today, but it's not well known or widely used.
So we said about
Nobody
designing
wants
a
to
camera
know about
lucida
it.
for today.
They don't want you to
Pablo
know about it.
Garcia created a modern version of the camera lucida, and he called it the Neo Lucida. I would love to test the Neo Lucida and compare it with the original one. The use of the camera lucida does not take away the talents of classical artists. Being stuck in traditional ways of thinking is not how we can make great art. Using new technologies to work better and faster opens a lot of
Camera
new
Lucida.
possibilities, like the AI revolution we are living right now.
Hey, I
will continue to practice drawing with the Camera Lucida, and I will show you my progress in the future.
Alright, this is another
The
video.
artist David Hockney and the physicist Charles Falco.
This one is good because it gets straight to the point. I think it's only like a minute long. And
The artist David Hockney and the physicist Charles Falco suggested that.
Hold on, let me start it one more time. I'm looking for another video.
The artist David Hockney and the physicist Charles Falco suggested that huge developments in Renaissance art were not just down to people getting better at it, but rather their use of a piece of radically new optical technology known as the camera obscura.
Lucida. No, the camera obscura is that one, and then the camera lucida is for the one on the table. Why is that shit so damn? All right, we started back over because I'm trying to make a clip out of this. So, yeah, actually, matter of fact, let me do this too. Some of this in the back. All right, there we go. All right, so yeah.
The artist David Hockney and the physicist Charles Falco suggested that huge developments in Renaissance art were not just down to people getting better at it, but rather their use of a piece of radically new optical technology known as the camera obscura. Camera obscura is Latin for dark room, and by about 1550, a lens was being used instead of the pinhole, giving a much brighter image, a picture clear enough to trace around. The camera obscura became a portable device, and wily Renaissance artists made them into tents and later boxes that they could climb into.
That's pretty cool.
Then a miniature one was developed, which looks surprisingly similar to the cameras that came along 400 years later. Hockney and Falco claim this explains the sudden improvement in realism. But what do you think?
Exactly. What do I think? I think that this video is good too. Actually, we're gonna watch the second one too. This is a big camera obscura at the beach. Like I said, a lot of people don't know about these things.
My name is Robert Zucchetto. I'm the operator of the camera obscura, and I've been operating it since 1995. And it's a beautiful experience, and everyone should come down here. We're at Ocean Beach, located behind the Cliff House on the lower terrace. Well, I encountered it when I was 10 years old. I used to sneak in here all the time. I used to just hang out down here and go get
Camera obscura operator.
Sneak in with my bathing suit.
I think this is in California. Oh, let me find the compass videos.
It was like a different image, so it was like something in a bowl. So that was kind of spectacular in that itself. It was great because every time I can just sit back there and look at the seal rock and Ocean Beach and all the seals.
Camera obscura and camera lucida.
1946.
That's how they made
Floyd Jennings.
fine art and stuff back in the day.
1956, it was later
Photorealistic
changed to a camera look here because people didn't know what a camera obscura was. So the owner, Mr. Whitney's Jr., recommended it look like a camera. It's the principle of light hitting a pinhole. So the light rays crisscross and the image is formed in a dark room. And this one here is called a pyramid camera obscura, where the image comes down.
Look at that.
And it's best compared to an eye because the image is produced on a large concave table.
It's ball worship again.
Yes.
The eyeball. That's how they made a camera obscura.
It's rotating, and that's a symbol of the cosmic eye, seeing everything. Well, that's my interpretation.
He's like, that's my interpretation. The cosmic eye, seeing everything. I didn't catch how long he said he worked here, but probably been working there forever. This video is cool. I found it like a year or two ago.
Up or down is how you focus it, so everything in the camera is focused for 100 meters. And then it rotates 360, so everything you see outside, you'll see inside. And
they can see all the way around them.
Subtle, so it gives
like
that
an owl.
painting look. looks like a pastel colors. So it's very beautiful. That's why it's even better inside than outside.
He said it's even better inside than outside. That's crazy. Beyond the blue horizon. This is a cool video, I don't know. It's weird. This shit's weird.
The camera obscura changes my perspective in a way because you see things in a different way. It's the same lighting from...
He said the camera obscura changes my perspective.
The camera obscura changes my perspective in a way because you see things in a different way. It's the same lighting from outside, but what happens when it hits a pinhole and gets captured in the dark room? It produces a different perspective of everything. So that's what makes it so
I forget
special.
what it's called in computers technology, but we'll get to that in a second when I figure it out. I can't remember. I'll have a moment of clarity soon. Don't worry. Or worry, whatever, it doesn't matter. What is it called? Hey, that was public domain stuff too. Oh yeah, if y'all want to see that video, it's called Camera Obscura, Science in the City. Exploratorium? Yeah, okay. There you go, Exploratorium. Never seen that word ever in my life. All right, so. They really called that place an Exploratorium. All right, whatever. Let's get off that. And matter of fact, actually, I got more videos on that shit, actually. Let's see. This dude is a weird dude, so let's check him out. He probably has some cool facts about the camera obscura as well. Like I said, people don't talk about this shit. But since I've been doing research and like photos and videos and everything, I figured I might as well show it to you. Oh yeah, I'll show you the compasses that all need water too. Well, every compass needs some type of lubrication, but generally speaking, they all need some sort of water.
I have here a simple yet quite magical box from the museum's collection. It's about 200 years old. It folds down into a neat package, yet once opened up, like it is now, there's nothing inside.
Oh yeah.
But with this box, we can capture the world outside perfectly by projecting, without using any power, what's on the outside down into a darkened space on the inside. Now, it's not
he
really
explained
magic,
it pretty well.
It's an object called a camera obscura, but the result definitely is quite magical. So let's see how it works. We have here this rather theatrical looking curtain, and here there's a panel with a lens in it. And this lens focuses the light for an object or a scene out here down onto a mirror on the inside.
Little fat beat they got going. It's funny.
The word camera is Latin for chamber or room, and obscura means dark. So what we have here is a dark room. A very simple version of this would use a tiny hole to focus the light, but by using a lens, we have a bigger hole or aperture.
I found it.
To get a much brighter image.
2 years ago.
So what happens is the light comes in through the lens, it hits a mirror that's set at 45 degrees behind here, and then projects the scene on the outside down onto the base.
All right, we're gonna restart this video because this dude explains it very well. And, you know, I was doing other stuff in the background. I'm trying to make a video out of this.
I have here a simple yet quite magical box from the museum's collection. It's about 200 years old. It folds down into a neat package.
200 years
once
old.
Opened up, like it is now, there's nothing inside. But with this box, we can capture the world outside perfectly by projecting, without using any power, what's on the outside
it's like
down
magic.
into a darkened space on the inside. Now, it's not really magical, of course. It's an object called a camera obscura, but the result definitely is quite magical.
Camera
So let's see how it
obscura.
works. We have here this rather theatrical looking curtain, and here there's a panel with a lens in it. And this lens focuses the light for an
The
object
veil.
or a scene out here down onto a mirror on the inside. So let's have a look what's going on inside.
Yeah, shall we?
The word camera is Latin for chamber or room, and obscura means dark. So what we have here is a dark room. A very
dark
simple
room.
version of this would use a tiny hole to focus the light, but by using a lens, we have a bigger hole or aperture, so we get a much brighter image. So what happens is
it's like a
the light
camera.
comes in through the lens, it hits a mirror that's set at 45 degrees behind here, and then projects the scene on the outside down onto the base inside the camera. It's sharp, colourful, bright, and live, rather like a little video
cool
feed
as
of
hell.
the world outside. Now, not only is this quite magical, but it's also really useful, because if we place a piece of paper into the camera,
can draw on
we can
it
start
and
to
trace
sketch
it.
the scene outside in incredibly accurate detail. And later, this
Lighting
sketch
and
might be
everything.
turned into a painting that would capture beautifully the perspective of the scene in front of the camera.
Exactly. The perspective. Thames Vermeer. That's the painting right there. The reflection in the window, the lighting, the ray tracing. I'm just joking. I mean, it's the same thing, ray tracing. But yeah, this is how they made those crazy paintings that you see. A lot of people think that they just drew them by memory or whatever, but I mean, maybe some did, but I think a majority of them were made with this tool, the Camera Obscura or the Camera Lucida. Pretty cool.
Now, the Camera Obscura is really useful for making drawings, but it is only focusing and reflecting the light. It's not capturing it. And the next big leap, beginning in the 19th century, was to use an object like the Camera Obscura and combine it with material that would alter when exposed to light and preserve the image.
Exactly.
This is the earliest known photograph, taken in 1826 or 1827
Show
by
me some
Joseph Niepce.
proof.
He used a Camera Obscura and put inside a chemically coated plate to capture the image.
Egg yolk or egg
So the
whites.
Camera
I think they
Obscura
use.
really
Egg whites,
is
yeah.
a rather magical box after all.
Very
Using just
much
a
so.
hole and some light, we have the basis
That's it.
for all photography, including, believe it or not, the camera in your phone.
That's the beginning right there. A lot of people don't even know, but there we go. I'm trying to impart a little bit of wisdom on whoever may be watching. So there you have it. I mean, you learned a little bit of something today. You did. It's not over yet, but let me look for this other video real quick. I got it ready, but I think I misplaced it. At least I thought I had it ready. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Let's get it. This is the same technology, but in computers now, all right? Same technology as Camera Lucida and Camera Obscura. The concept is in video games. All right. He's about to make a dark room right now. And then, yeah, he's making a dark room. He's gonna make a Camera Obscura in Minecraft. And it works, which is whole another conversation. There's another video that showcases this too. I'm gonna try to find it. Minecraft, there we go. Somebody put in gaming. This one might be the better one, but we'll finish watching this one just for the sake of, us already watching majority of it. The camera is already working. See, anything built in front of the camera is gonna be inside the dark room. This is in a video game. They match the geometry of the world so perfectly that they can make a Camera Obscura in a virtual world. I saw this a couple years ago. Like I said, I saw this a couple years ago when ray tracing was coming out. RTX ray tracing. And yeah, pretty crazy stuff. And if you don't understand what's going on, again, just rewind this stream a little bit, or just Google camera obscura or camera lucida, and then you'll understand what just happened in that video game. Basically, the guy, you know, made one of them in the video game, and for that to be possible, they basically, you know, figured out everything. But is that even a question anymore? They know everything. What they tell us is, you know, stupid shit, but camera obscura, you see it? It's in Minecraft, like I said. The physics. I wonder what's going on today with the audio. Like, at least the mic. It's crazy. Maybe it's because in a different spot it's picking up my voice a little better or whatever, but yeah, this is another example of a camera obscura in a video game. So does he got any music? All right, yeah, he got a little music. Well, he fuck his music. All right, his music ain't playing loud enough. So, hey, hold on. Let me see real quick. All right, here we go. Yeah, this video don't got no music, so my bad. Let's skip it a little bit ahead. Camera obscura, as you can see. Again. They already built it in this video, it looks like, so we want to actually get to see them build it. But you guys get the point. You've seen it in the last video, but let's take a look at it. Pretty crazy though, right? If you understand the concept, it's pretty crazy. There's probably a better video that explains this. Matter of fact, let me take a look for it real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, sheesh. Probably a better video that explains it. With some like audio and shit. Oh, it's a mod? I think, where is the official like NVIDIA video of this shit? Oh, let's do this. How about this? Oh, yeah, right here. Hey. What happened? Come on, bro. What? NVIDIA? RTX? Alright, fuck it, this has gotta be it then. This is not it. Actually, wait, was that better? Oh no, that's the one we already saw. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, it's crazy. They must have took off the one that it was like years ago. NVIDIA put it out. Let's try this one. See what this guy got going. Oh, it's a kid. Nah. Never mind. Never mind. Oh yeah, camera lucida is in Minecraft. It's how they do ray tracing. It's how they do realistic lighting. It's the same technology. That's crazy. Where's the video at though? Let's go mod. How about that? So many pictures. Man, that was 3 years ago and dude only got like, well, I know how that is though. It's crazy amount of shit on Minecraft. Actually, let me take the Minecraft out of it, because that's fucking giving me too many search results that I don't want. Hey, let's check this one out. He's saying he gonna build one. Nah, that's like 7 minutes though, actually. This dude made one too. Holy shit, that's a big one. Let's check this one out. Damn. Can y'all see what it is? There we go. The big box they made out of plywood and shit. Let's see if they got some music and shit too. Nope. Just fucking. Camera Lucida being produced as we speak. This dude got out and got right back in his car. You can see him outside, right? That's inside the box. It's the Paradox.
The artist David Hockney.
Hey. Alright, let's see. Hold on. I'm looking for we did Camera Lucida, Camera Obscura. Hey, this one. Nope. Here we go. I think this is it, right? No? Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. Do it live.
Here are some of the early optical devices used in photography and fine art. Once
in fine art, she said. She right.
And mechanics of the camera obscura were refined. First was the camera lucida that was used to split the vision between a sitter in front of the artist and the paper on the table in front of him, so that scientists understood that the brain was receiving two separate messages and were able to merge the two as one. So the artist was able to look through the camera lucida to see the subject in front of him and essentially trace the subject as he was perceiving it on the paper.
Tracing. We thought they was like.
And then we have an image of a camera obscura light box that an artist would use to point at whatever subject, either a sitter, a landscape, or another piece of artwork, and then trace the image on the light box top. And then the bottom right, we have one of the first color photograph viewers called the Autochrome, developed by the Lumiere brothers, where the actual Autochrome, like a transparent slide, sat on the top slot, and then the image was projected and reflected onto a mirror so that the viewer could actually see a full color image.
She explained it very well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought I was gonna have to find another video, but damn.
Represent certain aspects of our surroundings. To assist in capturing this reality, they began with this, the camera obscura. The idea of the camera obscura is seen as early as the 4th century BC through the writings of an old Chinese philosopher, Mozi. Over the next millennia, it had been used by many a person, from Roger Bacon to Leonardo da Vinci. This camera does not capture images per se, but rather manipulates them. The light that is reflected off an external structure, for example, a building, comes into a room or box with a small hole in the side.
Got the old Joe shit going.
Due to optical inversion, is then reflected upside down inside the box, in complete detail and color.
I like this video too.
With this,
I'm gonna start it over a little bit.
The camera obscura. The idea of the camera obscura is seen as early as our surroundings.
Obscura.
To assist in capturing this reality, they began with this, the camera obscura. The idea of the camera obscura is seen as early as the 4th century BC through the writings of an old Chinese philosopher, Mozi. Over the next millennia, it had been used by many a person, from Roger Bacon to Leonardo da Vinci. This camera does not capture images per se, but rather manipulates them. The light that is reflected off an external structure, for example, a building, comes into a room or box with a small hole in the side. The light, due to optical inversion, is then reflected upside down inside the box, in complete detail and color. Here is a real-life example of a camera obscura. As you can see, a hole has been cut into the wall, and the images from the outside have been reflected onto the inside.
Yeesh. That's cool.
The camera obscura was among the first discoveries made in optics. Eventually, it led to various innovations, such as eyeglasses and laser beams. So how did we get something like this from the camera obscura? Let's go back to the Burgundy section of France, the year 1826. Joseph Niepce, a French inventor, had been experimenting with light-sensitive materials for quite some time. He was incapable of light-sensitive...
She definitely, because wait a minute, was this video out? Yeah, it's 8 years ago, definitely. I didn't find it a couple of years ago when I was
Joseph Niepce, a French inventor of the Burgundy section of France, the year 1826.
The Burgundy section of France.
From the camera obscura. Let's go back to the Burgundy section of France, the year 1826. Joseph Niepce, a French inventor, had been experimenting with light-sensitive materials for quite some time. He was incapable as an artist, so he used his knowledge of chemistry to develop a bitumen solution, which he coated on a pewter plate and exposed to 8 hours of sunlight, capturing the first photograph known to mankind.
Hey, there go that picture again.
After his death in 1833, Niepce's understudy, Louis Daguerre, took this idea and geared it towards public use in the form of a daguerreotype. This invention became vastly popular, but, as with any piece of technology, it had its issues. For one, during capture, each person would have to sit completely still for many minutes. Hence, why people in these photographs tend to look unhappy.
That's funny.
It was difficult to hold a grin for the duration of the exposure, so many opted for a neutral face that sometimes came off as angry.
A neutral face? That's what
With daguerreotypes, retaking an image really wasn't an option. So, in the year 1900, Kodak released this, the Kodak Brownie.
Kodak, not Kodak Black.
The Brownie was the introduction to everyday photography as we know it today. As you can see, this is basically a miniature version of the camera obscura, with a hole cut out here that has a lens put in it, rather than a pinhole. This allows a more concentrated amount of light to flow into the camera, thus allowing a shorter exposure time. Through the viewfinder on the side, you are able to see what you are taking an image of, though it is upside down, as it was with the camera obscura.
Right. Simple.
In order to capture the image, light-sensitive film would be placed here. The consumers of this product would never develop the images themselves, hence the tagline, "You press the button,
secret.
We do the rest." Over the years, cameras have drastically transformed, from box to film, Polaroid, DSLR, GoPro, and even smartphones. So next time that you take a picture, consider how much history went into capturing that one moment.
Exactly. That's a good video. Like I said, I was searching this information a year or two ago, did not find that video, so that's cool. Check this one out. The camera
obscura is a device to start all the history of photography. In Latin, camera obscura means dark chamber. The term comes from the original device in which a completely black room had a small hole put through a wall that showed the image that was reflected through the hole just flipped. The idea first came into concept around 400 BC, when Moti claimed that an image was flipped upside down, as the light from one thing travels in straight lines. Aristotle put practical use of Moti's ideas by examining the light that traveled through a small hole in between tree leaves during a solar eclipse. The Arab scientist Al-Hazzan in the 19th century created the first real dark chamber, in which he took a completely dark room and put a hole in the wall that showed the light from the object outside the room to the opposite wall. The next users of the camera obscura were those during the Renaissance, like Leonardo da Vinci. They used the camera to add dimension and perspective to their drawings.
Tell people.
It was not until 300 years later when Johann Hendrik Schultz discovered that an image would be preserved for a little when exposed to a silver compound when light changed the appearance. In order to provide a more publicly accessible product, two men of the 19th century, Henry Fox Talbot and Louis Daguerre, created two competing ways to produce images. Taube used a Calotype paper covered in silver iodide
Something
coating
else.
that created a lasting photograph of the image from one negative. Although the paper allowed many copies to be made of the image, Daguerre's chemistry method beat out Taube's method by using a silver plate produced a sharper image, even though the new image had to be taken each photograph. Some modern photographers, like Abelardo Morel, use the camera obscura's technique today by making a smaller hole on a window and covering the rest, having an image appear on the opposite wall, then take a photograph of the projected image.
That's another good video on camera obscura. So there is more information than it was when I researched it a while ago, or at least YouTube's algorithm is showing it to me today instead of when I was looking for it the couple weeks ago or whatever. But give me 1 second. I have to handle some shit real quick. I'll be right back. Like you know, just give me 1 second though. I'll holler at y'all in a second. All right. My bad, I'm back. That wasn't that long. You know what I mean? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Don't trip. Let me put that mic on. No, hold on. Sheesh. Supposed to have the mic on before. Hey, but you know what I'm saying? Behind the scenes a little bit. Hey, but yeah, I got another video, but let me find it real quick. Sheesh. We're on some camera lucida shit today. At first we was on some, some other shit, but now we on some camera lucida shit today. There you go. He said might have been, but I'll go on a limb and say it was definitely around. Cause why not? I don't owe you motherfuckers nothing, so, but whatever. I'm just joking. But nah, yeah. It was definitely around. There's so much evidence to support the fact that they knew how to capture imagery or images. So yeah, there's that. Oh, I'm looking for, let's see, what is this one? Is this one short? Nah. 8 months ago? Thames Vermeer. Alright, let's see. Let's use this.
This is the basic definition of a pinhole camera or a camera obscura. The basic idea is that if you have a 3D scene and if you can create a small So this is the basic definition of a pinhole camera or a camera obscura. The basic idea is that if you have a 3D scene and if you can create a small device like this one, which basically has a small hole, a pinhole, then all the light from this 3D scene would go through this pinhole, and if you put some sort of a screen or a sensor inside this box, it will appear upside down inside this box. The simplest definition of a camera therefore would be is basically how light goes through this hole is generated upside down and the back of this box, and if you notice, all the light is basically going in from one hole and appearing upside down here. And now, of course,
I just
the
got
simplest
here,
thing
what
you
I
can do to make this
I don't know what you did. Hello, Donald Trump. How you doing? I'm over here on YouTube and Twitch streaming about a camera obscura. If you never heard of a camera obscura, Google it. It's pretty cool. It'll take you like 5 minutes and research it and give you something to talk about too.
into a camera that would
Oh shit, what is that language? I don't know how to speak that language, bro. Can you rewrite that in English, please? Thank you.
preserve this image would be to be able to store this image in some.
Yeah, because I only speak English and Ebonics. So, holy shit, I didn't even know that was like that the whole time. That sucks. Whatever. Well, we fixed it. Anyways, but yeah, I'm watching Camera Obscura. What's your TikTok? You're on it right now. It's You People Live. This is my TikTok. Like, share, and subscribe. I guess that's what the kids are saying these days. You know what I'm saying? You dig? Nah, just playing. Hey, she look good. I'm looking at Instagram chicks while I'm on YouTube watching videos about Camera Obscura and, you know, just chilling. It's Sunday. We vibing out, learning some new shit. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if you stop learning, man, that's like the day you like, you know, start getting sick and dying. So this is the basic definition. Again, we learning the Camera Obscura and how you can make a dark room, and that's how they started the first camera. There's a big room, they put a pinhole in it, and they put a lens over it, and then it shines the image on the wall, and then they can trace it. And a lot of Da Vinci used to use it. Tim's Vermeer was made using the camera Lucida. Obscura, it's the smaller version, but he used both though, really. So there you go. He said, somebody ordered pancakes. I just sipped scissor. I get it. I fuck with it too.
So this is the basic definition of a pinhole camera or a camera obscura. The basic idea is that if you have a 3D scene and if you can create a small device like this one.
That's definitely Yeezus' quote. It's coming from Romans 12:9 as well. Yeah.
Which basically has a small hole, a pinhole, then all the light from this 3D scene would go through this pinhole, and if you put some sort of a screen or a sensor inside this box, it'll appear upside down inside this box.
Instagram let all the hoes and the prostitutes and just the general scallywags on the internet do whatever. But let me say something out of line. They'll ban me, suspend me in no time. I can't even post certain videos, but I swear, I ain't tripping, I ain't arguing because, you know, I look at the videos and the pictures they be posting too, so Instagram don't change nothing, but, you know, just chill on me a little bit, man. Same with you, TikTok. Y'all be tripping on me and shit.
Simplest definition.
I just seen Grindface got suspended today for posting something that didn't even have a fight, but everybody else getting to post fights. It's crazy right now.
So this is...
But yeah, back to the Camera Obscura and Camera Lucida. And then we might even play Battlefield today. I just been chilling though. I haven't even played the goddamn game.
This is the basic definition of a pinhole camera or a camera obscura. The basic idea is that if you have a 3D scene and if you can create a small device like this one, which basically has a small hole, a pinhole, then all the light from this 3D scene would go through this pinhole, and if you put some sort of a screen or a sensor inside this box, it'll appear upside down inside this box. The simplest definition of a camera therefore would be is basically how light goes through this hole. So this is the basic definition.
I'm trying to show y'all. Actually, let's see Plato's allegory. Is that what it is? Yeah, the cave allegory. Plato's cave allegory. Man, I swear. Y'all finna learn today. Now I'm just playing. Let's look at Plato's allegory and with what we've already been talking about, or I haven't been talking about it. I've just been showing y'all, but the Camera Obscura and the Camera Lucida. What is this video on Instagram? Sheesh. All right, that's a better video. All right, but yeah, if you research the Camera Lucida, the Camera Obscura, and Plato's allegory with the cave, you'll probably see a little bit of similarities on early understanding of how your iris works, and photography, which is crazy because that was either history is not chronologically correct or something's up. You know?
So this is the basic definition of a pinhole camera or a camera obscura. The basic idea is that if you have a 3D scene and if you can create a small device like this one, which basically has a small hole, a pinhole, then all the light from this 3D scene would go through this pinhole, and if you put some sort of a screen or a sensor inside this box, it'll appear upside down inside this box. The simplest definition of a camera therefore would be is basically how light goes through this hole is generated upside down in the back of this box. And if you notice, all the light is basically going in from one hole and appearing upside down here. And now, of course, the simplest thing we can do to make this into a camera that would preserve this image would be to be able to store this image in some form or the other. I'm just showing you a few more examples. These are the classic examples of pinhole cameras. And I did mention earlier that this definition of a camera has existed from about 300 to 400 BC, where you would put a light source here, go through a pinhole, and an image would be formed upside down inside the box. And this was a classic method used in the old days also, where basically 3D scenes like this would actually be captured through a pinhole upside down, and people would actually use various types of sketching mechanisms to preserve this. And they would actually do sketching or painting on a wall to preserve this. Of course, we have many different methods of preserving this.
Nowadays,
and there's a whole lot of stuff about both films and, of course, digital sensors that can do this.
I gotta go get my car washed. Sheesh. Oh yeah, but let's look at the Plato's allegory real quick. See if I can find something that's not too hard to understand. This one looks easy to understand, cause you know, not just I already understand this shit, but yeah, trying to help y'all understand it.
This is the last video on Plato, and we're going to take a look at the analogy of the cave. We will consider the details of the analogy and then look at the meaning and purpose in relation to Plato's theory of forms. Plato told an analogous story to illustrate his theory of forms. Imagine a group of prisoners chained since childhood in an underground cave. They are unable to move their heads, able and purpose in relation to Plato's theory of forms. Plato told an analogous story. This is the last video on Plato, and we're going to take a look at the analogy of the cave. We will consider the details of the analogy and then look at the meaning and purpose in relation to Plato's
camera obscura, camera lucida.
Plato told an analogous story to illustrate his theory of forms. Imagine a group of prisoners chained since childhood in an underground cave. They are unable to move their heads, able to look forward only. Imagine that behind them is a fire burning up higher
is a crazy place.
Distance, and between the fire and the prisoners, a low wall has been built. There is a walkway where people are carrying various objects that rise above the wall, including human images and shapes of animals. The fire casts shadows of the figures and objects onto the wall in front of the prisoners. Plato argued that such prisoners would deem reality to be nothing else than the shadows of the artificial objects. One of the prisoners is freed from his shackles and compelled to stand up suddenly, to lift his eyes to the light, and in doing all this felt pain, as the brightness of the fire hurts his eyes, so that it is difficult to see the objects casting the shadows. He is told that what he had seen before was all a cheat and an illusion, but that now he saw more truly. He is then dragged by force up the ascent, which is rough and steep, out into the light of the sun in the outside world. It is difficult for his eyes to adjust to the brightness, so that he struggles to see. At first, he can only bear to look down at the shadows and reflections in the water, and later the things themselves.
Couldn't even look at the light, it was so bright.
And from these he would go on to contemplate the light of the stars and of the moon. Finally, he would be able to look upon the sun itself. By now he has learned that it is because of the sun that he can see anything at all, that the sun is in some sort the cause of all these things that they had seen. Then, if he recalled to his mind his first habitation, still chained and deceived in the cave, he would pity the prisoners there. If there had been honours and commendations among them which they bestowed to one another, and prizes for the man who was quickest to make out the shadows as they pass, he would not envy and emulate those who were honoured, but endure anything rather than opine with them and live that life. If he were to go down again and take his old place in the cave, he would find it hard to see in the darkness, having come from the bright light. And if he tried to join in evaluating these shadows while his vision was still dim and before his eyes were accustomed to the dark, the shackled prisoners would laugh at him for his inability to see the shadows well, whilst they congratulate each other on their own proficiency. They would say that he had returned from his journey aloft with his eyes ruined, and if he tried to release them and lead them up to the light, they would kill him if it were possible. Plato explained the meaning of this analogy. He explained that the prisoners are very much like us humans, who are chained or restricted from knowing the truth. The cave represents the empirical world of sense experience, the region revealed through sight. Plato likened the light of the fire in it to the power of the sun, and the shadows symbolise the imperfect particulars we observe. Like shadows, these only resemble reality and lead to opinion rather than to knowledge. The ascent to light and the contemplation of the things above represent the souls who are chained or restricted from knowing that the shackled prisoners would laugh at him for his inability to see the shadows well, whilst they congratulate each other on their own proficiency. They would say that he had returned from his journey aloft with his eyes ruined, and if he tried to release them and lead them up to the light, they would kill him if it were possible. Plato explained the meaning of this analogy. He explained that the prisoners are very much like us humans, who are chained or restricted from knowing the truth. The cave represents the empirical world of sense experience, the region revealed through sight. Plato likened the light of the fire in it to the power of the sun, and the shadows symbolise the imperfect particulars we observe. Like shadows, these only resemble reality and lead to opinion rather than to knowledge. The ascent to light and the contemplation of the things above represent the soul's ascent to knowledge via reason, as the outside world represents the realm of the forms, the realm of truth. Plato described it as the conversion of the mind from the twilight of error to the truth, that climb up into the real world which we shall call true philosophy. The shadows and reflections viewed in the outside world represent the lower forms and objects, and the objects and the heavenly bodies represent the higher forms. The sun represents the form of the good upon which all else is contingent or dependent. Plato expanded on that symbol. Good is to the intellectual faculty what the sun is to that of vision. And if you want to know more about that particular comparison, look back
Plato
again at the video all about the form of the good and the symbol of the sun. Epistemically, Plato's using the analogy to try and convince us, or to try and help us understand and consider our world as one of illusion and the realm of forms as the realm of truth. It helps us to understand the reaction of the philosopher as he comes closer to truth, and the reaction of those around him who ridicule him and who are unable to accept and value and understand his journey. Through the analogy, we are able to recognise the folly of the opinions that people have about this world being the source of truth, when actually all around us is just illusion. It is also a reminder of the difficulty of journeying and the pain of journeying, of letting go of those opinions and of seeking and grasping the truth about life. Ontologically, the analogy helps us to understand the way in which the forms are more real, as Plato describes it, than the particulars that we see around us in this world. And the idea of the shadows and the objects casting the shadows, which are not the real objects themselves, remember.
I just found a better video. Hold on.
The pain of journeying,
we're gonna finish this one now.
Go of those opinions and of seeking and grasping the truth about life.
Talked about Truman Show and the Matrix.
The analogy helps us to understand the way in which the forms are more real, as Plato describes it, than the particulars that we see around us in this world. And the idea of the shadows and the objects casting the shadows, which are not the real objects themselves, remember, they're simply puppets or carvings carried by these people. It helps us to understand how these are in some way like the real objects themselves, but not the real objects themselves. Just as the
it's an image.
Are like the forms in that they instantiate the forms, but they are not the forms themselves. And that's the metaphysics that's shown in the analogy. This video has been brought to you by Jest Education. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to find out more.
This is not school, but you're gonna learn something if you watch this stream with me.
There have been many stories about characters discovering that reality isn't real at all.
This isn't real.
What is real?
But where did this idea come from?
Hello, someone there?
For that, we have to go back over 2,000 years to the famed philosopher Plato. There have been many stories about characters discovering that reality isn't real at all.
This isn't real. What is real?
But where did this idea come from?
Hello, someone there?
For that, we have to go back over 2,000 years to the famed philosopher Plato. Why is this story still so captivating, and what can we learn from it? This is What is Plato's Allegory of the Cave?
Okay, so the other one called it analogy, and this one's calling it allegory. So I guess I was right when I called it Plato's allegory at the beginning. All right.
There have been many stories about characters discovering that reality isn't real at all.
This isn't real. What is real?
But where did this idea come from?
Hello, someone there?
For that, we have to go back over 2,000 years to the famed philosopher Plato.
Isis, Ra, and El.
There have been many stories about characters discovering that reality isn't real at all.
This isn't
Isis,
real.
Ra,
What
and
is
El.
real?
But where did this idea come from?
Hello, someone there?
For that, we have to go back over 2,000 years to the famed philosopher
years?
Plato. Why is this story still so captivating, and what can we
Plato's
learn
allegory.
from it? This is What is Plato's Allegory of the Cave? Make sure you subscribe and enable notifications for more videos on literary techniques such as irony, satire.
I get it.
The Allegory of the Cave is The Allegory of the Cave is a selection from a larger work called The Republic, written about 375 BCE by the Greek philosopher Plato. It remains a seminal piece of writing with profound philosophical questions about the nature of human perception. To illustrate these ideas, Plato uses an allegory, which is a form of storytelling that uses symbolism to represent larger or complex ideas.
Okay.
So, what happens in Plato's Allegory of the Cave? It begins with a group of prisoners who have lived their entire lives in a cave. They are chained to a wall, unable to turn their heads, so all they see is a wall onto which shadows are projected. Above and behind them is a fire that other men use to cast these shadows. They hold up statues and figures of animals, occasionally making noises like a puppet show in silhouette. Because this is all the prisoners have known, the shadows are their perceived reality.
Exactly.
One of these prisoners is set free and turns to see the fire behind them. The prisoner is told that the shadows were merely an illusion. The brightness of the fire hurts his eyes as he struggles to perceive this new reality. The prisoner is then dragged fully out of the cave and into the glaring sunlight.
They don't want the
Once
truth.
the prisoner's eyes have adjusted, however, he will slowly realize that this reality is far more real than the one he knew before.
Exactly.
Instead of the mere shadow of a tree, he sees an actual tree.
A real thing.
The prisoner
Or
then
is it?
returns to share this enlightenment with his fellow prisoners. But as he re-enters the cave, he's effectively blind once again, for his eyes are no longer accustomed to the darkness. Seeing his
Not
blindness,
anymore.
his fellow prisoners assume that he has completely lost his mind. They mock
They're
him
like, "Yeah,
for
right,
leaving the
bro."
cave in the first place, and vow to kill him if he tries to make them do the same. There ends the story. So what are we meant to take away from this allegory? Let's look at the various meanings and interpretations.
Chapter 2. Give me 1 second. We'll be right back on chapter 2. All right. Let's get it. We back. Chapter 2. Let's hear chapter 2 real quick.
Just like The Matrix, Plato's allegory of the cave deals with big questions.
What?
The quest for enlightenment.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
The nature of reality.
How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
And overcoming those who would keep us in the dark.
As long as the Matrix exists, the human race will never be free.
In the cave allegory, Plato describes the journey from ignorance to enlightenment, much like the process Thomas Anderson endures to become Neo.
Why am my eyes hurt?
Much like
You've never used them
the
before.
camera obscura.
As Plato describes, the journey upwards is the ascent of the soul into the intellectual world. Those who seek and attain this enlightenment would understand greater truths about our existence.
There is no spoon?
Then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends, it is only yourself.
The knowledge Neo attains becomes a great weapon against the machines. Plato argues that in order to create a utopian society, we should be ruled by those who have seen the light, rather than those who choose to see only the shadows.
I choose the Matrix.
The Matrix isn't real.
I disagree, Trinity. I think the Matrix can be more real than this world.
After he learns the truth, Neo reluctantly becomes this leader, the one who will free the rest of us.
Neo, the
But
one.
where the Matrix diverts from Plato is in the ending.
Inverted.
Those who Neo liberates treat him as a savior, not as a threat.
Neo, please. I have a son, Jacob, aboard the Gnosis. Please, watch over him.
I'll try.
But as an allegory that uses symbolism, the meaning of those symbols is subjective. In most interpretations, the prisoners represent us, the average person. But who are the shadow makers and puppeteers? In The Matrix,
who they are.
these are the machines and their representative, Agent Smith. But they might represent any
Anderson.
authority or power structure.
Listen to me, Truman. There's no more truth
Truman
out
Show.
there than there is in the world I created for you.
They could be politicians whose aim is to keep us passive and ignorant.
There's 100%
Sounds about
certainty
right.
of impact.
Call it 70% and let's move on.
But it's not even close to 70%.
You cannot go around saying to people that there's a 100%
100%.
chance that they're going to die. You know, it's just...
They could be the media, showing us images that we
They
build our
live.
realities around.
Classic.
They could be religious figures, interpreting the divine for us.
Our spirits live on in the whole of time, exist in many vessels through time. This is the vessel you're existing in now.
They could even be our parents, imposing their own beliefs on us before we form them for ourselves.
That's my little scholar. Today, honor student. Tomorrow, UN Secretary General. The ancestors would be so proud.
We're still studying the allegory of the cave because the questions Plato asks are still relevant. And for storytellers, we get a perfect example of an allegory that can be interpreted in many ways. Let's look a little closer at what writers can take from Plato's allegory. Whether you're working in theater, film, fiction, or even video games, there is a lot of
Video
inspiration
games?
for storytellers to find in Plato's allegory.
All these people here are players. We live in the real world. But
Do
you
we?
only exist here. It's why you can never leave Free City.
On a structural
we can't
level,
leave Earth
the
either.
allegory of the cave is a concise illustration of a three-act structure, following the imprisonment in Act 1, the departure from the cave in Act 2,
Okay, beginning, middle,
and the eventual
and an end.
return in Act 3.
Classic
Our
story
protagonist is
telling.
also given a complete character arc as they experience an event that changes their life and how they see
Oh,
the
yeah.
world. But the most valuable lesson is how Plato uses allegory to express rather complicated ideas with a simple plot and meaningful imagery.
Right, exactly.
Just as the shadow of a tree merely suggests a real tree, Allegories use symbolic characters.
Residents in Tembiso rioted for the third consecutive night in an attempt to remove all the aliens from their township.
Plots.
These are people you're about to...
No. They're fly-bitten savages that live in a tree.
Oh, Avatar.
And imagery to represent other things.
Star Wars.
Remember this as the last day of the Republic!
Hey,
Films like The Truman Show,
The Empire,
Room, and Us all take direct inspiration from Plato's allegory of the cave. But other films also use allegory as a vehicle for their own underlying messages.
Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy we don't need.
Exactly.
Snowpiercer uses the idea of train cars to represent the segregation and inequality between socio-economic classes.
Curtis, everyone has their preordained position. And everyone is in their place except you.
That's what people in the best place say to people in the worst place.
Exactly.
Zootopia is an exploration of prejudice and stereotyping.
I mean, it's not like a bunny could go savage.
Right, but a fox could, huh?
Nick, stop it. You're not like them.
Oh, there's a them now.
The Lobster is a satiric commentary on conformity and social norms.
Congratulations.
That movie. I haven't
The
seen
course
it.
of your relationship will be monitored closely by our staff and by me personally. If you encounter any problems, any tensions, any arguing that you cannot resolve yourselves, you will be assigned children. That usually helps a lot.
That's funny. You'll be assigned children.
Allegory is a powerful tool that storytellers have been using for millennia. Now, it's your turn. If you're brainstorming a plot with complex ideas or challenging subject matter, go back and read Plato's Allegory of the Cave, and you might just see the light at the end of the tunnel. Make sure you subscribe and enable notifications to stay in the loop for more filmmaking videos.
Camera Lucida. It's all the same shit, man. Plato's Allegory. If you learned anything today, hit the like button. Subscribe, whatever, if you want. I don't care. But, yeah, shit. I'm finna try to get a couple kills real quick.
We have been pushed off Alpha 1.
Fuck! He was right there. He didn't even know. Oh, his partner saw me though. Got a couple kills though. Can't be mad at that. What, 3? Real quick, 2? 2 quick kills, real quick. Unlimited lives. So I'll just die right now while it's unlimited lives. Maybe that'll help me out. Oh, we're getting pushed back. All right, so start here.
We must hold them here as long as possible. Defend the objective.
Where the fuck are these guys at? They're gonna be here in a minute.
There is an available support drop ready.
Distant 300 meters.
Hey, no. Motherfucker hit me so fast. What kind of... I'm telling you, they got the new meta guns. I ain't got the new meta guns yet. I'm still using my old shit. Got his ass, though. Why'd you kill yourself, bro? I was coming to get you, my guy. Oh, how did I fucking miss that? Crazy.
Reloading. Watch out!
Got your ass. Holy shit. Damn! Oh, I couldn't lay down fast enough. But yeah, on that note, I'm finna holler at y'all later. I got some other shit I gotta do. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoy. Peace, man.